Welcome to Emotions and Stories. When we hear the word love, we only think about romantic love. But then, love has many forms. Let's begin our today's story, More Than One Kind of Love. The first time Raghu and Vishal met, they were 5 years old, standing side by side in front of the blue and yellow gates of their kindergarten. Raghu had tears in his eyes, clutching his mother's dupatta while Vishal was stubbornly refusing to let go of his toy truck. They sat next to each other on the first day, shared crayons, and ended up sharing secrets. By the time they were in primary school, they were inseparable. One's thought completed by other's word. Through childhood, adolescence, and adulthood, Raghu and Vishal were a pair the neighborhood adored and speculated about in equal measures. Look at them, old Mrs. Iyer would say, peering over her balcony as they walked back from college. Raghu with a book tucked under his arm and Vishal with his guitar slung across his back. Such a lovely couple. They're made for each other. In a small town where everyone talked and nothing stayed private for long, their closeness drew whispers. When they opened a little cafe together in their late 20s, a cozy place filled with smell of coffee and the sound of Vishal's music, rumors intensified. Why don't they just admit it? People would mutter over steaming cup of chai. Look at how Raghu looks at Vishal when he plays the guitar. It has to be love. What no one ever understood was that it was love, not just the kind they assumed. They were each other's anchor. When Raghu's father passed away suddenly, Vishal sat on the porch with him every night for weeks. Silent, solid, a presence that kept Raghu from drowning in grief. When Vishal's first business venture failed and he spiraled into self-doubt, Raghu stayed up with him through endless nights, sketching new ideas on napkins, telling him, "You're bigger than this failure. You're Vishal Singh. You don't quit." Through marriages, heartbreaks, divorce, careers that rose and fell, the one constant in both their lives was each other. They traveled the country in their 40s, laughing like teenagers on crowded trains and quiet mountain cafes. They celebrated birthdays with cakes that always had too much frosting. They fought sometimes, of course, but never for long. Neither could stand a day without the other's voice on the phone. Decades passed and the world kept changing around them. The cafe grew old just like they did, but it smelled of coffee and stories. And then, one golden afternoon when they were about 70, their grandchildren, Raghu's granddaughter Asha and Vishal's grandson Karan, sat cross-legged on cafe floor looking up at them with wide, curious eyes. Grandpa, Asha began hesitantly, glancing from one old man to the other. Were you and Vishalji ever in love? The question hung in the air like a bird hovering before it lands. Raghu and Vishal exchanged a look. An old, familiar look that carried 50, 60 years of shared memories, and then burst out laughing. A deep, belly-shaking laughter that startled a sparrow on the windowsill. Karan frowned. "Why are you laughing? Everyone always says you were, different. That you should have fought society to be together." Raghu wiped a tear from the corner of his eye and leaned back in his chair. His voice softer now, tinged with age but still steady. "Ah, kiddo, not all love is the kind you read about in books or see in movies." Vishal leaned forward, resting his wrinkled hands on his knees, eyes crinkling with a smile. Sometimes love doesn't look like roses and proposals. Sometimes love looks like holding your best friend's hand when he's scared, or sitting with him when his world is falling apart, or celebrating his victories like they're your own. Raghu nodded, his gaze drifting to the cafe walls covered with decades of photographs. The two of them at every age, laughing, crying, living. We don't need to fight society to be together because we were together every single day, through every storm, through every joy. That's what matters. Karan tilted his head, confusing, giving way to thoughtfulness. So, you loved each other, but not like in love? Vishal chuckled, his voice rich with years of wisdom. Love isn't just one thing, Karan. The world tells you about romantic love, but there's friendship too. Deep, steady, and pure. That kind of love doesn't fade, doesn't demand, doesn't break your heart. It carries you. Asha's eyes sparkled as she looked between them. That's actually beautiful. It is, Raghu said, smiling at her. Your generation will have many kinds of love. Just remember, don't measure it by what others think it should look like. Some of the strongest bonds aren't written in love letters. They're written in years of showing up for each other. Outside, the sun dipped behind the old banyan tree, casting long shadows across the cafe floor. The two old friends sat in companionable silence as their grandchildren absorbed their words. The hum of the ceiling fan mixing with faint sound of Vishal's guitar. In that moment, the memories as rich as the coffee in their cups, and love as steadfast as the bond they shared. Raghu and Vishal proved a simple truth. Not all love is romantic. Some love is friendship, and it is the purest kind of all. I hope you enjoyed today's story. Do let us know in the comments what you think about it. Thank you.